Hello friends, welcome to the Eureka Lending channel. This is Pound Sai Tadepalli. You are watching Eureka Lending channel. Today I come up with a new data science project friends. The project is called Unit Price Prediction. Means the product price prediction, how the price will be in the future. So this is very interesting project friends. You will get very good information about how to do data science project and how to start data science project. It is a type of an end-to-end project. So let's go into the project friends. So don't waste the time. Let's go into the part. So this is the problem statement friends predicting the unit price. I am doing this project in Google Colab. So this is the attribute inform description. What are the features are there? Invoice number, stock code, description, quantity, invoice date, unit price, customer ID, and country. Country means country of sales. No, this will be labeled as a number. Customer ID. So they gave each customer one ID and the price of the product, invoice date, which date the customer bought this product and how much quantity they bought and description about the product. This is a number friends. There is no text. That's why I put a encoded as a label and stock code and invoice number. These are the features in the data frames. And these are the importing necessary libraries. These are the basic libraries to do any data science project friends. And I am setting the plotting style SNS dot using Seaborn friends, wide grid unmuted. Wide grid will come in when you doing visualization or any plot you are using any plots. And these are the model building libraries from the sklearn. I am using all the models and cross validation, and I am using Power pipeline, sklearn pipeline also. Why I am using this, you will know in the video, friends. And these are I am ignoring all the warnings, and I am setting the number of rows and columns to print the data. So these are the important uh, imports, friends, while doing the data science project. These are the common things. And I am doing this project in Google Colab. So I have to upload the data. So I put my data in my drive. So I have how to access my drive. To access drive, this is the command. After run this command, you will get one link. You have to open that link. In after opening, it will ask you allow that your drive. So then you will get one opener or some copy security code. You have to copy this in the below. Then it will give as a mounted. Your drive will be mounted. So these are all common steps, friends. So this is the now I am starting the project. This is the I am reading the train data set. So I am put variable name as a df underscore train. I'm printing the top 5 observations of the data. So invoice number, all the features are all, as I already discussed, and I am testing because this train data. I am not dividing the train data into test and train data because for train and test I have two different CSV files, friends. So there is no division to using model and from the sklearn dot model and schools collection. So this is the test data CSV file I am reading and I am printing the top test 5 observations. And this is the train data information, friends. So there is no null values from this you can think. So there are 28,000, 2 lakhs 84,780 observations. All are numericals. Only one is the object type, friends. I think data, invoice date. And see, this is the description about the data set, what I observed. As we can see, that train data set consists of 25, 2 lakhs 50,000 rows. Fortunately, there is no null values, friends. And most of the columns are numerical type. Only one column invoice date type is object type. So see, I am printing the home shape of the data set, friends. 22 lakhs for 84,780 observations, 8 features. This is about the information about the data, friends. Now I am cleaning the data. In the data cleaning steps, first step is we have to check the null values. Is there any null values present in the data set? To check null values, this is the command, friends. Data is the variable name you assign the data, and after you have to give like is null. So it will give yes or no, true or false type output. But if you want to know the number, how much the null value is present in the data set, so you have to use this sum. So fortunately, we don't have any null values, so there is no problem to the data. So again, I am checking the null values in the test data set. In test data also, you don't have any null values, friends. So I am separating the different types of columns present in the data set, categorical columns and numerical columns. To separate the data columns, this is the command variable dot select underscore variable means which variable your data is assigned, and after you have to write this select underscore data types. In after this you have to give include. In include, which category which data type you are separating. I am separating first category columns. So in this data set we have only one column, categorical column, that is invoice date, friends. That is the data type is object, and after I'm converting to list. So this is the invoice date. After I am separating the numerical columns in our data, numerical columns are int and float data types, 64 into 64 and float 64. These are the numerical columns present in the data set, friends. So I am printing the unique values. How many unique values are there in the invoice date? So there are 19,451 unique values there. So I am dropping the irrelevant columns because invoice date and invoice number are not useful for our data analysis part. So I am removing that part because these are the columns. So I put x is equal to 1, friends. After removing the data irrelevant columns, I'm printing the top 5 observations. So invoice data and invoice number are not there. See, you can see. After I am starting the data analysis part, so I am exploring the data. First part, we have to know descriptive statistics of the data set. So these are the descriptive statistics: count, mean, standard deviation, minimum, 25%, 50% quartile, 75% quartile, and maximum value. So we have only 6 features, friends. So for 6 features, all the quantity of number of observations are same, and mean of the each feature. So quantity, so what this mean of quantity indicates, so 12, it indicates 12, you can approximately convert into 13. So each average quantity they are selling is 13 items or 13 units, and the average cost of product is 3 units. Means I am not putting any country currency, so I called as a units, 4 units. And the maximum quantity they are buying, this is the quantity, and this is the maximum price, and this is the minimum price. I think they are offering free products also for zero indicates. Quantity negative means they are returning. Quantity returning means some people return the products now. That's why in the data set they put a negative sign to know the idea of return. After I'm checking the skewness, why I'm checking the skewness means how the data is distributed. We have to know, friends. This will be very important factor when we are building the model, because the train data will be in one distribution and test data in the one distribution. So we have to know, because if you don't do any if you don't know the distribution, so if you directly fit the model, we can't get very good results. So if you know the distribution of the data, we can do change the distribution to normal distribution, then we can get very good results. means predictions, very good predictions. So this is the syntax for the checking the skewness. So this is my variable name after removing the irrelevant columns, friends. And this is the skew to check the skewness. So what is skewness? The formula of skewness is 3 into mean minus median by standard deviation. Why we are dividing with the standard deviation? Because if you don't divide the standard deviation with the standard deviation, you will get unit. Means you will get the number with the dimension, the unit. So if you divide with standard deviation, we get dimensionless quantity. So only we get number. We don't, after number we don't get anything. So that is, then it is called a dimensionless quantity. So because why we need dimensionless quantity? We need number because how we deviated. So from this number we can tell this is a skewed or not skewed. So how? So first I will discuss about what is skewness. Skewness refers to the distortion or asymmetry in the bell curve because we assume data in the normal distribution means bell curve. If the skewness is present, that the distribution or the curve is not in the bell shape, so it will distorted from the bell shape. So this is called skewness. So if you want to check the skewness from these values, not I am not discussing about the using plot, but I am discussing about the from the numbers. So if the skewness is between minus zero point 0.5 and plus zero point 0.5, the data are fairly symmetrical. And if the skewness is between minus 1 and minus zero point 0.5 or zero point 0.5 and 1, the data are moderately symmetrical or skewed. If the skewness is less than minus 1 or greater than minus 1, the data are highly skewed. So see, the country is highly skewed and the customer ID is in the normal distribution and quantity also in the normal distribution. This description are normally moderately skewed. Are you understand, friends? The unit price is more skewed. So we want to know how the unit price using histogram. So we have to know the cost of the unit price means normally how the price the range means the price is very less than 5,000 above 0 and less than 5,000. See the observation I am using histogram, friends. So from the above plot we can easily see that the target column is every right skewed. This might help us to figure out the cross validation strategies for the data set. With that being said, let's go ahead and check the other columns, friends, to check the skewness or anything. So I am finding the correlation, friends. So is there any columns are correlated with target column? So this is the I am using Pearson correlation, friends. Defaultly it will be the Pearson correlation. So using heat map, I am doing the correlation. I am finding the correlation, friends. See, these are the observations from this plot. Some non-zero correlation between country and customer ID. See, friends, some non-zero correlation between customer ID and country. See, friends. So it is a small past because it is a small past correlation did not convey anything meaningful. The value is very less. This can be easily seen by example. The country with code 35 has customers with larger customer IDs. Because there are this is the country 35 is the country code. So in this country customers are more. From this country customers are buying more. You can say like that also. So I am for our main task to find the correlation is there any columns correlated with the target column. So I am finding and after this so this plot we can't know anything because this is very experts are only know from this plot. So for this reason I am using this syntax I am sorting the values. So unit price. So I am, because I am checking the all the features with the target. Our target column is unit price. That's why I like write like this correlation dot, because this is the variable name core variable dot the target column dot sort underscore values. So for, because we are checking with the target column, so we will get high correlation value. And for stock code, very less description with negative correlation. There is no relation with quantity and customer ID and country. It's like the see, this is the observation. It look like the target column has very small positive correlation with stock code, friends. See, rest of the columns have most negligible depends in the unit price. So there is no columns are highly correlated with the target column, friends. So I am checking the what countries are there, which from which country people are buying. See, these are the country code, friends. Unique country codes. So I am filtering out the top 5 countries who are buying more. See, this is the syntax. Top 5 countries equal to variable dot country dot value underscore counts top 5. I am printing the connecting to two list. So these are the top 5 countries buying the products, and I am counting the plot from which country people are buying more. So we can get see count using count plot. I am counting the this in the x axis count and y axis country name. So from the above, it looks the country column is categorical because only some countries are buying. Yet the numbers might represent this means we need to further process it appropriately before putting in the machine learning model. See, these are the countries 10, 13, 14, 0 and 3 are buying very less, and 23, 24 are buying. These are the very less buying countries, friends. See, 35 countries buying more. See, they are bought 24, 2 lakhs 50,000, more than 2 lakhs 50,000 products, friends. So this is the observation. So after this, I am checking the how many customers are. Why I am checking with the unique means who are the new customers. We want to know. So to know the new customer, you have to write command like this: customer ID dot NNQ. How many are new customer? 4,339 customers spread across 37 different countries. So I am printing the top 5 customers who are buying. So this is the same command, only column name will be different. Data variable dot customer ID dot value underscore counts. So these are the top 5 customers buying more. So I am printing, I am converting this, I am printing the data frame with the top 5 customers what they bought. So data, this is the syntax frame, this is our data frame, and from data frame we are checking customer ID. We are checking with the customer ID is in top 5 customers. This is the syntax, friends, to printing the top 5 customers data frame. See, this is the data frame. So we want to know which these top 5 customers are from which country. So this is top 5 dot df dot head from country. All are 35 countries. Because I am printing only 5 observations, friends. 35. And from and after want to know the uh, how many customers are new, or the quantity of new customers. See, this is the quantity. So this command indicates the what are the unique observations from this data frame. So after I am Uh, this is very new plot, friends. I am introducing very new plot. This is called categorical plot. It is available in Seaborn library, friends. So from this plot, we can know which customers are buying from which custom country. Customers are buying. We can segregate with the country, or we can segregate with which column you want. So this is the style of the plot: markers, line styles, kind, point plot, and to know the height, and these are the parameters, and we have to give the data parameter. So for this I am giving this data frame, and after you have to write plot dot show. So see friend, this is the categorical plot, means the x is the customer id and y is the unit price. From these customers, how the unit price, because which customers are buying costly products, which customers are buying less costly products, and from which country the customers are buying more, from which country the customers are buying less. From this we can know. See, there are only two countries, 10 and 35, because from 35 country people are buying more, so the cost of the items are also more, because some customers buy costly items. See, from the above plot, this is the observation frames. There is only one top buyer from the country with country code 10, because only one top customer buying costly products, because this is the data frame is only who are top buying customers data frame friends, and rest of them belong to country code 35, as you know, because from this country only customers are more. The vertical bar on each data point shows the spread of the unit price prints they bought. This is the spread of the unit price. The unit price is less, buying less costly product, and buying more costly products. So you can use this plot friends to know the how category, if there are categories in our data set. This plot is very helpful friends, because the spread, uh, uh, which countries they from which country they are buying, how the cost is spreading, how the price is spreading, which customers are buying more. This part will really helpful. And I am separating the target to column and independent columns and dependent columns friends. So I am unit price is our dependent column is target column. So I am assigning to y, and I am reshaping, because connecting to one dimensional. And after we do in the x column, in the dependent columns, we no need to we don't we don't have a unit target column. That's why I'm removing, dropping the unit price column friends. After, because there is some skewness is present in the data set, so we have to do transformation, data transformation friends. Normally what we do, we check for skewness, and after we apply, if the data is not in the normal distribution, we apply log values, some etc type of techniques. But in sklearn there is a one method, that is power transform method. So if the data is not, if the in our data one features are in one range, another feature in one range, so you have to do scaling also. So this is very time taking process, and you have to do iterative, because which scaling is better, which scaling is not better, you don't know. You have to do trial and error method to eliminate this problem. So in sklearn we have one method, power transformer method. What did this power transformer method do? So it will do scaling, it will do standardization, what, so it will do all the data transformation process. So you can import this method, it will do scaling, data transformation, standardization, all this process will be present in this method friends. So no need of importing scalar, scalings, all the etc stuff. So I am power transforming the data. So this is the syntax for to transforming the data, power transform. This is the method, from which method you are transforming the data. So I am using this method. I am also standardizing the data. After we have to fit underscore transform method. You have to use this like that. After I'm fitting the different models using pipeline, you don't need this command, friends. 1 minute. I can. Oh, for this I am putting in the pipeline because we have to know I am different models. I am fitting to the different models to different and min-max scaling technique also. So after this, this is the syntax to pipeline to first we have to do what uh, what you want to know or to trial and error in the trial and error. So I am giving some scaling. If you change the scaling, what will you have to know if my model is predictions are good or not. So I am doing for a linear regression. I am importing all the models: linear regression, lasso regression, elastic net, k-nearest neighbors, decision tree, and gradient boosting. Because this is a regression model, friends. Because we are predicting the continuous data. Unit price is a continuous. So we have to after this we have to know results, which algorithm, which model is performing better. So and I am taking to variables results and names, empty list, taking empty list variables, and after we have to know. And after I am doing k-fold crash validation also, I am splitting to 10 folds, and I am random state also 21. If you want to do random state, you can use random state, friends. And after you have to know results, your results, that will be the syntax cross underscore value underscore squirrel. How to give model x and y, and folding technique, and which metric you are using. So I am using native mean squared error, friends. And after I am appending this result, these values into results list, and we have to know which model is performing better. That's why I'm assigning these names that to names. So I am printing the results mean and standard deviation. See, friends, linear regression. These are the different models. See, for COT and KNN, I am getting very less. Means very less error, friends. So you can take both method also. So I take k nearest neighbors, friends. So so our model fitting is completed. So we have to predict with the test data, friends. So in the test data also we have to do data processing, because train and test data are different now, friends. That's why we have to remove invoice data and invoice number in the test data also. And I am printing the test data only top 5 observations. So I am taking k nearest neighbor algorithm, friends, but in the k nearest neighbor we have one hyperparameter, that is k. So I am fitting giving different k values from which at what k value we are getting high accuracy. So I am giving from I am running a for loop to know the which k value is better. I am giving the range of k's from 1 to 120, and I am fitting this k nearest neighbors algorithm. And so neighbor we have to give neighbors, friends. So I am giving the because you have to give neighbors from only it will uh, group that group the data which class they came. So after I'm printing the score. uh, so the score will be appending in the score because I take empty list now, friends. I'm appending the score into score list. After I am printing the from what k value I'm getting high accuracy. So to this is the command frames to know that high accuracy value. Score dot index maximum on score max score, it will give the maximum value, friends. And I am printing I am printing the high accuracy value, friends. and I'm because it will give in the 0 to 1 range, so I'm multiplying it with 100, then it will give percentage wise. So I'm getting the 99%, 99.8. So friends, it is very good accuracy value. So what at k value 18 I am getting high accuracy, friends. So after I am printing the my k nearest neighbor with that k value, neighbors are k high. So if you take 18 neighbor nearest neighbors, so this model performing better. So I am fitting this model with 18, and this is the score same 99.8. We are getting. So next we have to predict using the text data predictions. I am taking variable name as predictions and predicting the text data, friends. And after we have to convert this will come in an array format. So I am converting to data frame format. See, these are the unit price predictions. So after, because these will be in the one range, friends. Because why we applying power transfer method now, so the power transfer will apply scaling techniques and standardized techniques, but in real time we don't, the people will not understand, because the unit price will be depend upon the based upon the product. The cost, if the product is very costly, the range is very high. So you have to apply again power transform to convert the standardization scaling techniques what you did. So to convert the data which you applying power transform, uh, to convert, we have another method, friends, that is inverse power transform method. So to apply that the inverse transform power transform technique to your data, this is the syntax: power dat inverse underscore transform, and we have to give the data, which data you have to apply. You are going to apply the inverse transform. See, it will give array type as a data, and I am printing the final unit price predictions. See, friends, see, the range will be different, because this is the only real data. This is not real data, this is the predicted data from using the model. So this is the real data, you can understand. So after I'm printing this into one excel sheet, friends, so the people we can know, because technical paper only you know this one, so you have to give to normal people also. So I am converting to excel sheet, friends. So this is about the unit price prediction, friends. So this is very good project. You can put this project in your resume also. I think you know very good methods while doing science project, power transform, and skewness and categorical plot, and SQL and pipeline. So this is the methods I did using I did in this project, friends. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel and please share to your friends, and please press like button, and please click on bell button also. Then you can get new videos from my channel if I uploaded any new channel, friends. And thank you, friends. Thanks for watching this video.